More than 1,000 people will be out of a job tomorrow when GM issues layoff notices for the third shift at its Oshawa plant. In a bid to fight what officials are calling a significant spike in hate-motivated crimes, a new reporting system is being set up in Durham region. And temperatures are about to drop to lows we haven't seen in years, and we're not going to snap out of the deep freeze for a while. This is Live at 5. Hello, I'm Sija Liu. Welcome to Live at 5. City officials say snow removal operations are continuing around the clock after Toronto was hit by a massive winter storm Sunday. Snow is being moved to dump sites where it can be melted. Crews are focusing on downtown residential streets as well as highway ramps, bridge decks, and hospital routes. Drivers are being reminded that parking is still banned on all snow routes, and those who break the rules can face significant fines. Crews are also responding to 311 calls about sidewalks that haven't been cleared to conduct spot checks. The city says reports of sidewalk issues have dropped over the last 24 hours. Officials say many sidewalks have already been cleared and no longer require plowing. The city of Barrie has now been under the longest significant weather event declaration ever, a full month now. It first began on December 28th, and crews have been working around the clock to ensure roads are plowed. The city has seen 300 centimeters of snow since November 1st. Barrie's mayor says he's keeping a close eye on all their resources, with road salt being a major focus.
I think for us right now, we've got it, mainly under control. One of the difficulties we're facing is our buying group for salt is, we're running short. I know there's a provincial shortage. Northeastern United States has a shortage on road salt as well. So that's one piece that we're continually watching each and every day to make sure that we don't run out, and that we're, making sure we have enough salt, but it's we're not using it sparingly. That's for sure. So if there's one piece for us, I think that we would appreciate help on, it's really around procuring road salt.
A warning from police to stay off the ice as conditions are constantly changing. The OPP released these photos of Lake Simcoe showing open water pressure cracks. They are reminding the public that no ice is safe. Roughly 35% of drownings in Canada happen between October and April. It's 5:02. Let's check in with the commutes with CP24 traffic specialist Adjoa NCA. A cold day out there. How are the cars looking?
Cars are looking good in terms of looks, but in terms of trying to get to where you need to be this early evening, it's going to take you a while. We have so many problems happening. If you're headed out on the eastbound lanes of the 401, eastbound lanes of the QEW, actually, this is into Oakville. You'll find the right lane as well as the HOV lane blocked with a collision. So it's creating quite the delays to try to make your way out of Oakville at this point. Really, really jammed on the approach. And then not easy on the northbound 410 as well because of problems on the northbound 410 through Queen. It's the right lane and shoulder blocked following a collision. If your travels take you on to the 401, a heads up on the eastbound side of the 401 that's just past Leslie. It's a stalled truck that does have the left lane blocked. And then further east in the transfer lanes through Morningside, stalled transport truck has the right lane blocked. West 401, you're running into more problems in the express. This is just through Bayview. This is the long-standing transport that's blocking the right lane. And then you're running into a collision. Now it looks like they're blocking the two right lanes. Hard to see because this bridge is blocking my view. But on the 401 westbound, this is just as you make your way on the approach to Mississauga Road. It is the two right lanes that are out following an ongoing collision.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
I'm going to send it over to Samantha TC, the senior advisor for TTC. Just wondering, Samantha, hearing that there are problems on the 37 Islington bus?
Thanks, Adjoa. Yes, so we are tracking a few different things going on our surface routes right now. At the intersection of Islington and Albion, there is a stalled truck that's blocking the northbound lane. So this is causing a detour in service for our 37 Islington and 937 Islington Express buses. Now, we are still dealing with some issues with aftermaths massive Sunday snowfall, with some of our buses detouring across the city because of high snow banks. So looking in at service in the West End, the 77 Swansea buses, as well as the 63 Ossington, are detouring because of high snow banks and clearance issues for our buses. And more centrally and in the east end of the city, we have the 162 Lawrence Donway, 87 Cosburn, and 64 Main buses detouring for that same reason. Now, this just in, we do have an issue going on with our streetcars. The 504 King streetcar service has been temporarily suspended from Dundas West Station all the way to Queen and Roncesvalles because of Toronto Fire blocking the roadway in that area. So crews are on scene there. So make sure to visit us on ttc.ca for the latest with that. That's it for us here at Transit Control. Back to the newsroom.
Samantha TC with the TTC. Thanks so much for that update. The city is opening another warming center this hour and adding shelter spaces as we head into a bitterly cold night. Cold warnings are posted for a large part of the province. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman joins us live now with the details. Beatrice, it's already cold right now, but things are going to get worse. What are we expecting here?
It is, CJ. It's going to feel like minus 30 to minus 35 later on tonight. That's with wind chill. And so, of course, when you've got these dangerously low temperatures, the city activates kind of emergency spaces to protect the most vulnerable, those who are underhoused or homeless here in the city, who need somewhere to go on a night like tonight. It is set to be the coldest night of the season so far. I can tell you just a few minutes ago at 5 o'clock, the John Innes Community Center behind me here at Queen and Sherbourne opened up. This is now the 6th warming center to be added here in the city of Toronto to, help those who need somewhere to go inside, to get warm, to spend the night inside, to have a hot meal, and to have access to things, a lot of people like you and I take for granted. Hot showers, for example. The city also saying, probably this is the 8th center, not the 6th, the 8th center like this is to be opened. The city also saying it's added about 50 shelter spaces as well across the city. At existing sites, that brings the total number of spaces during this period of really, really cold weather to 615 spaces in total, CJ. Obviously, the experts, physicians are warning people about frostbite as well. Just a few minutes of exposure on skin in these kinds of dangerously low temps could really be cause for concern. And it's going to be a number we haven't seen a long time here in the city. In fact, we talked to climatologist Dave Phillips from Environment Canada, who had to check back in the record books for us. And here's a bit of what he had to say.
This winter has been cold, started in November, December, and here we are in January. We can't shake it. And so the coldest moment prior to tonight was minus 20.8, I think. So this is going to be 3 degrees colder than that. And it will be a record for Pearson. I look back over the records till like 1930s. I've never seen on this day, this November or January the 29th, I've never seen a colder moment. Now, downtown, where we have records that go back to the 1800s, it did get down on this day back minus 27.8, 1873. But hey, nobody's around to remember that cold day.
So, of course, 1873 compared to today, CJ, the coldest night on record for January 29th in more than a generation. Also, Dave Phillips saying we have gone without being above the freezing mark for 11 days now. The last time we were at zero was back on January 17th. So it's been a really frigid stretch, and it's not over yet. Some cold temps still on the way for at least the next several days, CJ.
Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago with no end in sight to these cold temperatures. Beatrice Vaisman, thanks so much for joining us. Layoff notices will be issued tomorrow as GM Oshawa cuts its 3rd shift. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us live now from Oshawa with the latest. Beth, a devastating day for this community. What's the reaction you're hearing?
Yeah, it is a devastating day, despite the fact that this layoff was announced last year. When you finally find out that you're losing your job, that's really not an easy day, no matter when it comes. And what that means is that after the overnight shift tonight, the Oshawa plant is going to go from 3 production shifts to 2 production shifts. So tomorrow morning at 6:30, that will be the last time those workers work on those Silverado trucks. We we are hearing from GM today, saying in a statement to CTV News Toronto CP24 that General Motors says the reduction is happening while preparations continue for the next generation of full-size pickups, saying GM has worked closely with Unifor to support impacted employees through this transition with comprehensive separation packages, retirement support, and other benefits, saying we thank and recognize the employees impacted for their contributions. Still, this is hard to swallow for workers. Here's more of what they had to say.
I'm feeling very bad, losing a job. It's not easy to get a job, especially this GM. They pay very well.
I feel really bad. My son's losing his job. He was hired in 2022. So he's also losing his job. And I know a lot of people that are losing their job also.
Are people blaming tariffs and Trump?
Guaranteed. 100%.
Explain. What are people saying about that?
Well, the tariffs are hurting us 100% all throughout Canada. But with the tariffs on the auto industry is totally wrong. It affects too many people.
Oshawa's mayor is reacting to all this, saying that he's confident actually a solution can be found. Just devastating that that solution wasn't found before today. And also saying that, we really need to get another product into that facility. The union, of course, also devastating. And the Premier also today reacting, saying that more needs to be done to make Ontario's auto sector competitive. Sija?
The final shift for so many of those workers. CTV's Beth McDonnell reporting live. Thank you for this. It's 5:11, minus 13. This is Live at 5. Police say they have arrested a man who escaped from a Toronto detention center earlier this week by allegedly impersonating another inmate. A man who escaped from the Toronto South Detention Center is back in custody. Police say 32-year-old Stephen Alexander Guzman-Maroquin impersonated another inmate who was being released from the jail. He was fitted with an ankle monitor but was able to remove it. We learned today he was arrested last night near Yonge and Eglinton. He's facing numerous charges, including escaping custody, impersonation, obstructing a police officer, mischief, and theft. Durham police say they've requested an independent investigation into an alleged incident at a courthouse in Oshawa. Lawyer Sundeen Ridley, who is black and wears a headscarf, claims ununiformed officers challenged her presence in an interview room last week where she was catching up on legal work. She alleges the officers slammed her head into a desk, dragged her out of the room in handcuffs, and then put her in a cell in the courtroom basement. Durham police saying this afternoon Riley was arrested and charged on an offense related to trespassing. They've notified the Law Enforcement Complaints Agency and requested it take on the investigation. A statement from Durham police reads in part, for both the integrity of the investigation and to relieve any concerns, the officers involved have been reassigned to duties that do not include courthouse security. However, they are entitled to due process during this investigation as required by law. The Criminal Lawyers Association, which called for an independent investigation, says all lawyers must be able to work in safety and security within Ontario courthouses. We recognize that racialized members of the bar have been disproportionately affected by these events, and we urge all stakeholders to take clear and meaningful action to protect our diverse bar and to address these deeply concerning allegations. In a bid to fight what officials are calling a significant spike in hate-motivated crimes, a new reporting system is being set up in Durham region. And for more on this, let's go live to CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan, who is in Whitby this afternoon. And Steve, tell us about this new initiative. It's different than reporting to police.
Yeah, it is. So this is being initiated by the region of Durham and by Durham's Victim Services. And it is a way for people to report any hate incidents, whether they are criminal or not. And the reports can be made by the complainant, by somebody who wishes to remain anonymous, or by a third party as well. And the important part here is that it does not have to be criminal for these complaints to be taken. They can be taken if, in fact, these are just harassment incidents as a result of hatred. And Victim Services has wraparound services that will help victims deal with any incidents that they may experience as a result. Now, we did hear from many speakers today out here in Durham region with regards to this announcement. And here is some of what we're told. Let's listen.
We developed this program together with human rights groups, faith organizations, and local service providers. Our goal is to strengthen safety and inclusion while also increasing the rate of hate reporting. We're doing this by offering a secure, confidential online tool where individuals can report hate, even when it doesn't meet the threshold of a crime.
Research shows that hate is dramatically underreported in our communities, and often because of barriers such as language, fear of retaliation, or not understanding the idea of what counts as a hate-related crime or hate-related incident. And our goal is to remove those barriers. In addition to reporting, anyone that has been directly impacted by hate can access wraparound services and supports through Victim Services. This includes immediate crisis response, access to trauma-informed counseling, safety planning, and a warm referral to culturally appropriate community resources.
So if the complaint is deemed to meet the threshold or definition of a criminal offense, so it will be passed on to the Durham Regional Police. And race and religion, according to Durham Police, are the #1 reasons that people are being targeted when it comes to hate-related incidents, and that's in 2023, 2024, and 2025. So back to you.
Steve Ryan reporting live in Whitby. Thank you for this. It's 5:17 minus 13. This is Live at 5. Coming up, advocates are questioning the reasoning for the Ontario Science Centre closure after the most significant single-day snowfall in Toronto's history didn't cause the roof to collapse. Workers are shoveling snow off the roof of the Ontario Science Centre as advocates point out the most significant single-day snowfall in Toronto's history didn't cause the roof to collapse. Chopper 24 was over the shuttered building on Don Mills this morning as 4 people could be seen removing loads of snow from a marked-off area. The Ford government closed the Ontario Science Centre permanently in June of 2024, citing engineering reports on the state of the building's roof. At the time of the closure, officials said they did not want to jeopardize anyone's safety over concerns of a potential collapse. Advocates and the Ontario Liberals are questioning the reasoning, saying nowhere in the engineering reports did it say to close the building. A statement from Infrastructure Ontario reads in part, following the heavy snowfall over the weekend and based on a recent assessment by Rimkus, the snow load on the roof was deemed unsafe to remove, consistent with their 2024 structural risk warning. Following an additional review, limited snow removal can now proceed in targeted areas under strict engineering controls. IO takes the potential risks identified by qualified engineers seriously and will not compromise the safety of staff. And for a closer look at the issue, we are joined live by Floyd Ruskin, co-chair of the group Save Ontario Science Centre. So Floyd, the big question now is the roof safe or not? What are your thoughts after seeing the roof still being intact following that snowstorm?
I can put it simply, I would take my family inside without any hesitation. Nothing in any of either the roof engineering report or the full engineering report said the building needed to be closed. There were sections that needed that were identified as needing work. And I'm just seeing your chopper shot now. This wasn't actually one of the critical spots, so I'm not really sure what they're doing there, but it looks good on TV. The problem is that after the building closed in 1994, Michael Lindsay, who was the CEO at the time, said that the building, that maintenance and repairs would take place. We're 15 months out of that, and why are they just getting around to it now? This is a publicly owned building. It's on land leased from the City of Toronto and leased from the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, and it seems a little like this is putting, if there is a problem, they're putting lipstick on a pig here, because there really isn't any reason to be doing this. We have a light, fluffy snow. Anybody that's been out shoveling a walk knows it was a very light, fluffy snow. A lot of it, but very light and fluffy.
Well, we know the Ontario Liberals are now calling on the Ford government to reopen the Ontario Science Centre after seeing this footage. Do you feel like this is enough evidence to convince the Ford government to go back on their decision?
No, actually, I don't. I think once Doug Ford made the decision to relocate the Ontario Science Centre to a half-size facility on the waterfront, he is getting what he wants. The Ontario Science Centre on Don Mills Road was never important to him. The learning experience, the immersive and interactive STEM research, everything that occurred there, and the fun, oh man, the fun, actually could still be taking place there even while they're contemplating building a new one there. And just a reminder that the Ontario Science Centre was a pawn in the play for Therm Spa. It was supposed to cover up the parking garage.
I guess, what are your hopes now, I guess, after seeing this video, understanding where the Ford government is? What do you feel like are the next steps here?
Well, as I said previously, I don't see Doug Ford backing down on his vision of an Orlando attraction on the waterfront. So what do we do with 770 Don Mills Road, which is the address of the present Ontario Science Centre? And how do we make sure that the provincial government fulfills its lease obligations to the city and maintains it in a good state of repair, so that after consultation with the community and around the city, Torontonians could decide, what are we going to do with this marvelous landmark facility that people have come to love over time?
Well, Floyd Ruskin, co-chair of Save Ontario Science Centre, we appreciate your time today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. It's 5:25 minus 11. This is Live at 5. Up next, the struggling Leafs hit the road, starting with a stop in Seattle tonight. The struggling Leafs begin a road trip in Seattle tonight.
Winds back to Toronto, scores off a stick and in.
Toronto is coming off a rough 3-4 loss to the Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday. It was their 5th loss in a row, and the Leafs are now in last in the Atlantic Division. SiriusXM's Canada's Ryan Payton calls the Leafs' performance frustrating. We also spoke to TSN Radio's Matt Koss, who says a number of factors have come into play in the Leafs' recent collapse.
Defensively, they were an absolute mess. They couldn't do a thing yesterday over the 5-game stand, giving up 7 goals to Boston. They're last in shots against. They're last in high danger chances. They're last in goals at even strength. It is a disaster. And what makes it even worse, they've actually gotten fairly decent goaltending, and it hasn't mattered. And I think the thing that's been a real shame is they lose that game where they come out flat to Vegas. They lose that game, and then the next game on Sunday against Colorado, where they're flat early on. And it just made such a poor taste in the mouth for Leaf fans who spend so much money to go to the game, that brave the snow on the Sunday. And you're right, after Ottawa beat Colorado, Toronto is now tied for last in the Atlantic.
The road trip will take the Leafs into the Olympic break. They will also visit Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton. It's 5:29 minus 13. This is Live at 5. City officials say snow removal operations are continuing with melters running around the clock. We'll get a live update coming up. More than 1,000 people will be out of a job tomorrow when GM issues layoff notices for the 3rd shift at its Oshawa plant. In a bid to fight what officials are calling a significant spike in hate-motivated crimes, a new reporting system is being set up in Durham region. And temperatures are about to drop into lows we haven't seen in years, and we're not going to snap out of the deep freeze for a while. This is Live at 5. Hello, I'm Sijal Liu. Welcome to Live at 5. Crews around the city are continuing their efforts to clear snow off the streets as more and more people get back to their regular routine following last weekend's storm. CTV's Sean Leathon has the latest on the snow removal. Sean, it's been a busy week of shoveling and plowing. What's the latest update on how that is going?
Well, CJ, the city is moving slowly to get all of the snow removed, and it is a massive job. I mean, when you look at the yard that they actually take the snow to, it can hold 50,000 tons, and it can melt some 29,000 tons per day. I think actually 39,000 tons per day, but they're still bringing as much as they can. Now, we know that yesterday the city had been focusing and almost refocusing their efforts on many of the sidewalks around the city. They said they'd received as many as 3,000 calls to 311, and then from there, they wanted to clear out from the core outwards. So they're working on residential streets today. Many residential streets that have street parking. They're trying to remove as much snow as they possibly can. They're going to give the areas that are going to be cleared 24 hours notice to move any vehicles if possible, because we know that those snowbanks often coincide with where people would want to park, and some cars may still be parked if you could possibly move your car from there. But overall, there's been a little sense of frustration at just how long it does take to remove snow with something like this. The factors being that there hasn't been a thaw after the snowstorm. It's just been very cold, and it's only getting colder. And the fact that it does take a long time to remove what was the largest single snowfall in a day in Toronto's history. We've been talking to people all day about it. Here's what they had to say.
It hasn't been the best, but I mean, there's been snow everywhere, so it's understandable that it would take a while to plow.
Confusing considering this is Canada and like this is just how it is every time.
It's a lot of work, and I'm looking at it thinking the snowblower helps, but there's a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, you got to keep your spirits up. You really do, because it's not the nicest weather.
So the job continues, and as the mayor had said, the job continues round the clock, but it does take some time to remove all that snow and then come back and remove some more. Just today, I was seeing the action up on Kipling when they were actually removing snow that was covering an entire lane of traffic. Now, it's taken block by block throughout the day. They've been working on it. It does take time, but they are making their progress. They're asking the people of Toronto to pack their patience. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leetong. CJ, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Song. All that snow not melting anytime soon, especially with the cold on the way. It's 5:34. Let's check in on the commutes with CP24 traffic specialist Adjoa Nsiayaboa. Adjoa, how's the rush hour?
It's not too good out there, CJ. Still watching so many problems impacting the drive. We'll start with the big issues that are happening if your travels take you through Oakville. Unfortunately, we are dealing with this multi-vehicle collision. Happened not that long ago, but Toronto-bound QEW through third line. Now at least you do have a pair of lanes getting by at one point. It was single file through here. Still really backed up from before Appleby line. Again, alternatives are Lakeshore, Rebecca, or to the north, you can make your way towards Dundas. Then on the 401, another long-standing situation, westbound 401 Express through Bayview. Stalled transport blocking the right lane in Shoulder, and then further west on the 401. This is a brand new problem in the collectors through Weston. Stalled vehicle taking out the right lane. Then you're running into a collision. This is on the westbound 401 on the approach to Mississauga Road in the Express. It's only that HOV lane that continues to squeeze by, and it looks like problems are still with us. This is the eastbound lanes of the 401 through Leslie. You will find the left lane in the collectors blocked following an ongoing stall on city streets. Crews on scene of a collision blocking lanes on Yonge near Steeles. Going to send it over now to Samantha TC, the senior advisor at TTC. Samantha, what is going on the subways or buses or streetcars? Is anything happening that's going to impact commuters?
Hi, Adjoa. So things are shaping up to be a good evening commute today. There are a few different things going on our surface routes that riders should be aware of, though. So right now on the 504 King Street, cars service has been temporarily suspended from the Dundas West Station to the intersection of Queen and Roncesvalles, as emergency services have blocked the roadway in that area. So if you are traveling, it could be a little bit longer than usual just because of that blocked road. Now, we did have an earlier issue impacting the 37 Islington and 937 Islington Express buses at Islington and Albion with a stalled vehicle in the northbound lanes, but that has since cleared, so it's regular service through that area. Now, taking a quick look underground at the subways, things are moving smoothly on lines 1, 2, and 4, and also on line 6. But just a quick reminder, if you are headed out late night tonight, we will have a planned subway closure on the portion of line 1 between Finch and Eglinton stations for planned tunnel work. Now, we got you covered with plenty of shuttle buses running along Yonge Street during that time, with regular service resuming tomorrow at 6 a.m. Now, that's your latest on transit for today. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Samantha. 2 people have been fatally shot on an Indigenous reserve in Quebec. The shooting prompted a lockdown on Mistissini First Nation, which has since been lifted. Provincial police say the murders appear to be linked to organized crime. The victims, who have been identified as 2 men in their 30s, were shot in a vehicle. The First Nation is located about 600 kilometers northwest of Quebec City. Layoff notices will be issued tomorrow as GM Oshawa cuts its 3rd shift. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us live from Oshawa with more. And Beth, lots of people heading on their last shift now for the evening. What are you hearing?
Sija, this layoff announcement was made last year, but learning of it now is really, really tough for a lot of the workers affected. So here's what we know, that, starting tonight will be the last overnight shift before the Oshawa plant moves from 3 production shifts to 2 production shifts. And what we've learned from Unifor, the union representing workers, is that this is affecting about 500 General Motors employees. That's confirmed by GM itself. But then there's also up to 700 workers that work for other companies. They are part of the supply chain that's necessary for these vehicles made here. And they actually work inside the facility as well. They're all union members. So a lot of people affected. And we've been talking to workers. This is really tough, and some really aren't sure what they're going to do. Here, have a listen.
I'm feeling very bad, losing a job. It's not easy to get a job, especially this GM. They pay very well.
I feel really bad. My son's losing his job. He was hired in 2022. So he's also losing his job. And I know a lot of people that are losing their job also.
Are people blaming tariffs and Trump?
Guaranteed. 100%.
Explain. What are people saying about that?
Well, the tariffs are hurting us 100% all throughout Canada. But with the tariffs on the auto industry is totally wrong. It affects too many people.
A lot of reaction, Sija, to this. The Oshawa mayor saying that he's confident a solution will be found. And actually, Unifor said that there, in the past, has been a 3rd shift for up to a decade, but not now. So that Oshawa mayor is just saying that he's devastated that a solution wasn't found before today, but really important to find a product to be made inside this plant. Premier Doug Ford also reacting, saying it's critical that the auto sector is more competitive, including that the EV mandate needs to be dropped to meet that competitiveness. And GM has also issued a statement to us saying that, this reduction is happening while preparations continue for the next generation of full-size pickups, saying GM has worked closely with Unifor to support impacted employees through this transition with comprehensive separation packages, retirement support, and other benefits. Adding, we thank and recognize the employees impacted for their contributions. But, still, if you're out of a job today, this is not easy to hear. One thing we did hear was that, many workers did appreciate the notice that they got. As I mentioned earlier, these layoff notices were announced last year, but still, what are you going to do come Monday? People need to feed their families, pay their bills, and so that is something they're going to have to face. Sija?
Still a tough situation. Thanks so much, Beth, for this update. The city is opening another warming center this hour and adding shelter spaces as we head into a bitterly cold night. Cold warnings are posted for a large swath of the province. And for more on this, let's go to CP24's Beatrice Vaisman. Beatrice, it feels like forever since it's been mild. What are we expecting here in terms of the weather?
Yeah, it's been since January 17th, Sija, since we've even been above the freezing mark. It is bitterly cold out here tonight, and it's especially dangerous for people who are the most vulnerable in our city, those who are homeless, those who, spend the night outside. It is just takes a few minutes, according to the experts, to get frostbites in these kinds of conditions. In fact, tonight, it's going to feel like anywhere between minus 32 and minus 35 with the wind chill. I don't know if there's a big difference in terms of feeling it between minus 32 and minus 35. But I can tell you my expert assessment, it is cold out here. And so that's why the city has opened some of these surge sites when it comes to warming centers, including John Innes Community Center here at Sherbourne and Shooter. And this is where there's capacity for about 30 people to come and get warm, to have a hot shower, to have access to washroom facilities, to grab a hot meal as well, Sija. And these are the kinds of surge capacity sites that open when it gets below minus 15. Obviously, we're far below minus 15. The city also saying that in addition to now running these 8 warming centers tonight, they've increased capacity at shelters across the city as well. In total, there are now 615 spaces, 50 spaces added for tonight because of the bitter cold. And so when it comes to what the experts are suggesting, if you're out and about, if you've got kids, if you've got pets, if you've got vulnerable neighbors like seniors, for example, here's some tips from Dr. Alan Grill from Markham Stouffville Hospital about what you should be doing to stay warm and how you can protect yourself.
With these cold temperatures we're getting, especially with the wind chill, it can definitely be hazardous to one's health. And what happens is when you get really cold, the blood vessels of the skin, they tend to sort of constrict or tighten up because your body wants to preserve its core temperature, right? And so what happens is your extremities are at risk of not getting good circulation. They talk about ears, nose, fingers, toes. So the best thing you can do is to make sure that when you're outside, you're not spending that much time in the severe cold weather.
And so when it comes to records, Sija, climatologist Dave Phillips from Environment Canada saying the last time downtown Toronto saw, the coldest temperatures on January 29th specifically, it was back in 1873. It was minus 27 on that day. So tonight we'll be surpassing that. People just warned to, take extra precautions if you are out and about tonight, Sija.
Okay, stay warm out there. Thank you, Beatrice. It's 5:43 minus 13. This is Live at 5. Coming up, in a bid to fight what officials are calling a significant spike in hate-motivated crimes, a new reporting system is being set up in Durham region. We'll take a closer look at this next. In a bid to fight what officials are calling a significant spike in hate-motivated crimes, a new reporting system is being set up in Durham region. And for more on this, let's go live to CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan in Whitby. Steve, so how does this new program work?
Well, the initiative is being implemented by both the region of Durham and Durham's Victim Services. And this proposal or this initiative is done to give people an outlet if they want to report an incident of hate. It does not have to be criminal. If it meets the threshold of criminality, the Victim Services Unit will pass it on to the Durham Regional Police. If it's a harassment or a hate-motivated incident, the Victim Services will have a wraparound services which will help victims deal with this type of hate-motivated incident. And it's being done because historically we are told by the people who spoke today that oftentimes newcomers to Canada are reluctant to report hate incidents because of a couple of reasons. A language barrier could be one of them, or there could be a mistrust with authority, so they are hesitant to report it. So as you said earlier, over 77% increase between 2023 and 2024 when it came to hate-related incidents. They believe that number is much higher, and it's as a result of these barriers that it goes on being less reported than it probably should be, and this is why this initiative is so important that was announced here today. Here's more from some of the speakers who we spoke with earlier today at this press conference. Let's listen.
And let me be clear, hate has no home in Durham region, the province of Ontario, or the country of Canada, or anywhere else in the world. We want to build communities where kindness is stronger than hate and where people feel safe to live, work, and contribute without fear.
Today's launch of the community-based hate reporting tool represents both a practical resource and a powerful statement. It acknowledges the very real experiences of individuals and communities in Durham who continue to encounter hate-motivated incidents, and it affirms that these experiences should not go unseen or acknowledged. We know that hate doesn't just target individuals, it impacts all of us.
Race and religion are the #1 targets of hate reported incidents in 2023, 2024, and 2025. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Steve Ryan breaking this down for us. Thank you. Canadians are marking the anniversary of one of the worst mass shootings in our country. On this day in 2017, a gunman attacked the Islamic Cultural Center in Quebec City, killing 6 people and seriously wounding 19 others in a targeted act of hate. In 2021, the federal government proclaimed January 29th the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia. Flags on government buildings and other institutions are lowered in honor of the victims. It's 5:49 minus 13. This is Live at 5. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at a new study highlighting the link between heavy drinking and cancer. Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting with the country's premiers today. The premiers are looking to present a united Team Canada front as trade tensions rise again with the U.S. The meetings come ahead of negotiations to renew the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement. Prime Minister Carney talked about the group's priorities this afternoon.
We will work to renew Canada's most important economic and security relationship, that with the United States, our largest trading partner. To that end, we're preparing for this year's review of the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement, and we agreed that we will meet monthly once those discussions begin.
U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened Canada in recent days with 100% across-the-board tariffs on exports. A new study is shedding more light on the link between heavy drinking and certain forms of cancer. Researchers at the U.S. National Cancer Institute looked at 20 years of data from more than 88,000 people. They found those who averaged 14 or more drinks a week were almost twice as likely to develop rectal cancer compared to people who averaged less than 1 drink a week. They were also 25% more likely to develop some form of colorectal cancer. It's 5:53 minus 11. This is Live at 5. Coming up, Toronto police mark the start of Black History Month. Toronto Police Service launched their Black History Month celebrations today. The late Constable Gloria Bartley, who became the first Black female police officer in Toronto in 1960, was posthumously awarded the Terry James Trailblazer Award. Her family accepted it on her behalf. The lobby of Police HQ was filled with dignitaries and other guests this morning for the kickoff. Speaker after speaker talked about the contributions by Black Torontonians that have made Toronto better.
Our commitment to equity and fairness and transparency is not tied to 1 month. It guides our service every single day of the year. And with your support and your feedback, we will continue to learn, adapt, and grow. As we mark Black History Month and honor the contributions of Black communities, it's important to recognize and reflect upon the people who have lived the reality of being the first, the reality of being the only.
As a board, Black History Month has always and continues to be an extremely significant event as we pay tribute to the contributions of Black communities to our city, to our country, and to this police service. We celebrate the past while looking forward. As a board, we are extremely proud of the service's ongoing efforts in supporting and recognizing this month. Today, we honor inspiring trailblazers.
We recognize what February means for us, Lord, but it's not just 1 month. Because maybe we need an Iranian month. Maybe we need a Ukrainian month. Maybe we need a Palestinian month, and maybe we need a Jewish month. Maybe we need an African month where Sudan and Sierra Leone and other places, Lord, of atrocities are still fighting for some kind of economic justice. So have mercy on your creation, O God, as we continue on this journey of faith.
Black History Month traditionally launches on the 1st of February. One of Toronto's favorite foodie events is back starting tomorrow. Winterlicious allows diners to enjoy a 3-course meal at a fixed price at more than 240 local restaurants. Prices range from $20 to $55 for lunch and $25 to $75 for dinner. It's 5:59 minus 13. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Thanks so much for joining us. CTV News at 6 is next.